In this video I will show you how you set up Nexus Personal Mobile in Hybrid Access Gateway. I will cover all the configuration steps required in Hybrid Access Gateway, and I will also show you how you enable your end users to log on with Personal Mobile, and finally also show what it looks like when you log on with Personal Mobile. The first things I need to do is go to the policy service configuration in Managed System and Policy Services, and I need to enable provisioning. Provisioning is used when pushing the identity profiles to Personal Mobile in the end user's mobile apps. I need to go to the distribution service and enable the message server that's used when authenticating and when signing, and also when enabling or provisioning the end user's mobile apps. So I check enable messaging and I save. Next thing is that the distribution service is published internally. I would like to enable it for access from internet, since the mobile apps that will connect this service when authenticating the users are located on the internet. So I will publish the message server through the Hybrid Access Gateway as a web resource and as a public web resource. I go to Manage Resource Access and Web Resources. I select to add a web resource. I just give it a name. I name it Message Server. I need to enter the IP address and the port to the message server. You can find that in the message server configuration, where you enable the message server recently. I uncheck make resource available in the portal, since this is not a resource, a web resource that end users will access from the portal. I will make it public, since it's considered a public resource, must be enabled for the mobile apps, so they can the personal mobile app, so it can connect to the message server to exchange information used for authentication and signing. Next step is to check that there are additional response headers added in the response headers field on the web resource. So I must check that we have added X reply to, X in reply to, and X locations. That's content in the response headers used by the message server, and they must be added here so we can link translate everything correctly. I click Next, and then don't forget to click Advanced Settings, select Reserve DNS Mapping, and assign a DNS name for the message server. This DNS name is the one that the personal mobile app will connect the message server on. So when that's done, I just click Next and Finish Wizard. Remember this name and then go to Distribution Services and Global Settings, and here you need to add the DNS name you just assigned for the message box, or the message server. And also check that it's the correct port. This is the port on the Hybrid Access Gateway used for the external communication. So now I've enabled all the different services used when provisioning personal mobile, when using it for authentication and for signing. The final step to configure in the Hybrid Access Gateway is to add an authentication method for personal mobile. So I go to Manage System, Authentication Methods. I select to add authentication method. I check personal mobile and I just click Next. I give it a display name, and this is the name that will be shown to the end users when selecting authentication method. So I name it Nexus Personal Mobile. I select Add Authentication Service. I only have one, so I add that one. I click Next and Next, and then I click Finish Wizard. So the next step is to enable personal mobile on each user account, and then they can start logging on. So now you've configured Personal Mobile in Hybrid Access Gateway, and it's time to make your end users really happy so that they can finally log on with Personal Mobile. So it's time to provision your end users with Personal Mobile. Logged on to the admin interface, I go to Manage Accounts and Storage. I click on User Accounts. I enter the username of the user I should enable. I find him here, a demo user. I go to the Authentication tab. I scroll down and enable Personal for this user. Also check Create New Profile, and then I select to send this activation information to the end user by email. So it means that the user will get an email with a QR code. So now the end user get an email with a QR code used for activation. So I just open my email, I start Personal Mobile, I click on Profiles, I click on the plus sign, and I scan this QR code, get into activation mode. So now Personal connects the message server, negotiates about the private and public key. So now the private key is generated, and I need to select a PIN code. And now my Personal Mobile is activated and ready to use for authentication. When logging on to Hybrid Access Gateway using Personal Mobile, you of course browse to Hybrid Access Gateway. You select Personal Mobile as Authentication Method. You enter your user ID, click Sign In, and then you pick up your mobile phone. You start Personal Mobile either manually or by using the push function. You compare the images in the web browser and in Personal Mobile, and they should be the same. You click Accept, and then you can select to log on using Touch ID or by entering your PIN code to unlock Personal Mobile. And then you're logged on and ready to access your applications. So now you know how easy it is to activate Personal Mobile in Hybrid Access Gateway. We've gone through all the configuration steps. You know how to do it, you know how to activate users, and you also know how easy it is to log on using Personal Mobile. So please go on and enroll Personal Mobile for all your end users.